We're male monkeys. We are. We are the male monkeys of America. Apologize for another day. Not with what I found out about his wife. Wow, that's crazy. Google Piers Morgan's wife. Oh God. It's a good thing he has thick skin. You need it when you're fucking with a hooer. Alright, we're just gonna go into this. What's up, my neighbors? Rob from the RPP here. I've been wanting to do this for the last, I don't know, 12 minutes or 12 days or since it came out. Since this man right here, here, I'm still getting used to OBS. This man, bum, 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 since he never came out, I'm just joking. But I've been wanting to do this for a hot motherfucking second. Anyway, this is the Piers Morgan, Nick Fuentes interview, which I found fascinating. I'm going to play it. I'm only going to interrupt it a bunch of times. And let's get to, let's see, hold on. Let's see, where should we go? Who's this man? I want to go to the meat and potatoes of it.
My father's half Mexican, half Irish. My mother's Italian. And they both came from a pretty rough upbringing themselves. They both were raised by single mothers, not because of divorce, but because both of their fathers had died. They endured a lot of dysfunction. And I think that's one of the reasons they came together and they related to each other and they wanted to create a normal upbringing for their children. They wanted to have a normal family life. And so they moved out to LaGrange Park away from the city. And they raised me and my sister and really put us first. I think that's a big reason why I tend to have a lot of these family values or Christian values. My mother quit her job and stayed at home to raise us. And so I have a very close relationship with my parents, with my sister.
One zone, Kingsman. Sorry, I was starting to think of a Pantera.
We're a very tight family.
Carry on.
And we grew up in a pretty idyllic town. And maybe we can sort of get into a conversation about politics from this. I loved my upbringing. My mom stayed at home. My dad was working. We're in a mostly white suburb in Chicago. I was maybe half Catholic, half Protestant. It was a baseball town. I played baseball for many years.
Oh, okay. We got it.
In Chicago, we love our hot dogs.
Oh my God.
We have our baseball parade. Get a hot dog.
They love their hot dogs.
So I love where I came from.
We need to get to the meat and potatoes of this motherfucker. Hold on.
By the fact that if it wasn't for immigration, you wouldn't exist as an American.
Well, I would certainly exist, but like you said, maybe not as an American. Certainly that's influenced in some measure. But I think that the kind of immigration that we had for a long time in the country, it's different than the immigration that we have now. And
I'm not going to lie. I completely agree. We do have, I think, ever since, Mr. Stuttering Fuck Bo Jiden came in, it's been bad. It was bad. And we're just now tackling it. I think Donald Trump's just now getting as based as we voted for him to be in the beginning. Carry on. Fucktard.
Let's just say for openers, it's different immigrants. They're coming from a different place with a different culture, a different religion. It's not the same as it was. So first, you have a qualitative difference. My ancestors, for the most part, I have 3 European grandparents from Ireland and Italy, 1 from Mexico. They came from Europe.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. All right, this motherfucker is basically like I'm a 3rd generation American immigrant. I think that's correct. My great grandparents, they emigrated from Italy, both sides, and yeah. So the thing is, I understand, and the times were different then. We didn't have these insane. First of all, we were coming up on something great. I mean, went through the Industrial Revolution, and I think the first fucking World War, and my grandmother was born right after, or like during the First World War. But I mean, you could hear stories about Mussolini and all this shit. I'm gonna keep going because I don't have the right amount of fucking historical knowledge for that. So anyway, yeah, I am a product of immigration.
Came from a society where there's a common ancestry, there's a common religion, common civilization. The people that have come
That's
in
true.
since 65, since Hart-Celler, they're coming from China, India,
I don't know what that
the
is.
Northern Triangle, Mexico,
Lucky.
Venezuela. And so first, they're just different people. Secondly, it's a quantitative difference. There's way more,
up.
and it's an unceasing, always increasing wave. For the first 3 or 4 waves of immigration, you would have a major influx of immigrants and then it would stop.
Up.
And then you'd have another wave and then it would stop. This
Up.
one, it just
Up,
keeps
up,
going
up.
up for 35 years. And it's too many. So that's really where I would draw the distinction between maybe where I originate from. I would even just simply call that immigration. What this is an invasion. It's a completely different policy.
But you mentioned,
can't even call it the same thing.
You mentioned Mexico in that list, and your father is half Mexican. So,
yeah,
I mean, by your criteria,
half Mexican. Deport! I'm kidding.
part of the invasion would include your father, presumably, and his immediate descendants who came from Mexico.
Not really true, because when my father's ancestors came here, it was a small fraction of the total immigrants that came from Mexico. I don't believe that we should have 0 immigrants forever, or even 0 immigrants from non-white countries. But you have to draw the distinction. My father's father, he was here in the 40s and 50s.
Said,
it was his parents, or I believe either his parents or grandparents that came here even earlier. Up until 1965, 90% of the immigrants were coming from Europe. I have no problem with that. If we have 10% of them coming from Mexico or Latin America, maybe that's reasonable, but that's not what it is now. Now you've got 10 million illegals in 4 years.
I think my dog needs to go out. We're about to figure this out. Can you go outside? Can you go pee-pee? You need to go pee-pee? You want to go pee-pee? Oh my God. All right. Let's pause this stream. Let me get up here. I'm totally, this is so dumb. If you could just see the setup, I'll take a picture of it. And maybe I'll make it the thumbnail. I don't know. But I'm going to take a picture of my point of view. Pause. I'm back from taking my good boy outside. Anyway, he took a piss. I'm in my hoodie because, you know how it goes. Anyway, let's keep going. Sorry if I'm not super enthusiastic. I've had nothing but issues up to this point. So, we'll see.
Or Joe Biden, and you got millions more legal immigrants from China, India, Venezuela, El Salvador, and it's so many with no break for assimilation, and they're all from non-white countries. It's transforming what America is. And again, that's the distinction. That's what makes it unacceptable.
I always believe everybody's a product of their environment. Right? I've interviewed thousands of people.
That's not necessarily
maybe 3, 4, 5,000 people from all different walks of life. But the one common theme I would say
You're a product
is
of your
everyone's a product of their environment. And I was reading some stuff about you in the last few days. There was an episode of your podcast where you talked about your father, Bill Fuentes, and how you wouldn't take the family, including you, to...
Hold on. All right. I'm going to get this straight. I don't give a shit about this part of the interview. It's all about his fucking father. I don't care. Piers Morgan goes deeper and deeper, trying to get him to implicate his father in his perceived racism. I don't care. Don't give a fuck about it. It's annoying. And it became a point of contention later on when they did the fucking 3 follow-up shows to, did I do good? Did I do good? The Piers Morgan Did I Do Good shows. Didn't I do good? Dr. Phil was like, you're so brave. You really did good. Oh, you gotta love women. Oh, yeah, misogyny, racism, and fucking get over it. Anyway, I'm going to find the spot that I want. And then we're going to get back into it. Give me a moment.
Certain restaurants because he believed they were associated with African.
All right. Well, I think we're back. Anyway, we're going to the... oh, my God. Excuse my retardation. I think we're coming up to no... this is not... I've watched this, but I haven't really watched it. You know what I mean? Anyway, we're coming up on the no, it's not the Jews, no, it's not the black people part. Let's figure. I just want to fucking. This is too much, man. This is too much. All right, well, let's fucking go. All right.
And blacks. Let's just take a listen.
They're always coming up with, no, it's not the Jews. No, it's not women. No, it's not blacks. It's actually really complicated. No, it fucking isn't at all.
True.
Jews are running society. Women
I don't believe it.
Shut the fuck up. Blacks
True.
need to be imprisoned for the most part.
Not all of
and
them.
we would live in paradise. It's that simple.
Criminals need to be in prison for the most part.
Would you like to clarify what you meant there?
That's all true. That's 100% true. Everything I said in that clip is true.
This dude
Including
kills me,
that,
man.
blacks need
This
to be
dude
imprisoned for the most
kills
part.
me.
Yeah. Yes.
But all of them.
Hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. All right. All right. He just fucking did like he did the Uno reverse on fucking Piers Morgan with that, and which is hilarious because obviously I don't think Piers has ever had a guest like this ever. I mean, he mentioned Andrew Tate quite a few times in his 3, maybe now we're on 4 post shows because I think Piers is in a cope loop right now because of I don't think he's ever had this type of backlash over any guest he's had because the Groypers are fucking crazy, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. This is a whole new genre of people. This is like a new fucking genre of young man, and I just hope that they're well intentioned in the end, and I hope this guy, Mr. Nick Fuentes, matures past his incredibly edgy phase. And, you know, that's not to say that being edgy is bad at all. I mean, I look at this guy like he's just an edgelord. I don't think he's 100% the Jews did it all. I really would like him to talk about Islam a little bit. I am nowhere near Jewish. I don't give a shit. I was brought up Roman Catholic. I'm predominantly Italian with Germanic ancestry and a lot of others, but fucking very, very white. Let's just put it this way: I'm very, very white, except for the Sicilian. Anyway, flip back, flip it, reverse it. Let's go.
No, for the most part.
What does the most part mean? What percentage of American blacks would you like to see in prison?
Whatever the percentages of the murderers. I think it's 1 in 20
There we go,
black
per
men
capita.
will commit a murder in their lifetime. So maybe let's say that 5%.
Oh, so you're talking about black people who murder people?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But you said all of them.
But you didn't say that.
That's
You
the
just
crime
said
problem.
blacks need to be imprisoned for the most
For
part.
the most part.
You didn't clarify that you were talking about black murderers.
Right.
Oh.
No, you're right. That's a good addition to that. That's a great
This
point.
guy
Do you think,
is an
do you think
edgelord.
it's funny? Or
I do. I think it's hilarious. I think it's totally true.
do you think a black American would find it funny? You think that blacks should be imprisoned for the most part?
Blacks are my biggest fans. I get high fives all
It's
the
true.
time. They say, Nick
It's
Fuentes, I love your show.
I don't
They
know.
agree
I don't know
with
why
me.
black
And you
people
wanna
love
know
this guy
why?
so much, but it's true.
Here's the
It's true.
difference. Black people are the most victimized by other black people. You think black people want to live in the hood and the ghetto and
Yo, the man is spitting facts. No, yeah. The majority of black folks, as soon as they get out of the hood, they don't go back to the hood. They go back to say hi. The predominant outcome is as soon as they get a meaningful wage, good job, money, or they make it, or just look. They go to the suburbs where it's safe, where there's not. Come on. I'm a fucking street kid, dude. I grew up, and I'm like one of those middle class. Like I grew up like low to middle class, and at one point my father was doing well when I was a little older before I moved out. Like when I was 17, I was out. But But I used to sell drugs. I used to do dumb shit. And I'll tell you this much. Black people, the people that I fucking got drugs to sell to other white people, those people, they weren't in the hood. If they had weight, and that's the people you wanted to go to because you wanted to get the most bang for your buck, they lived in the fucking suburbs. It's because they made the money. And I'm not saying that's making it, because a lot of people do it the right way. A lot of black people do it the right way. A lot of white people do it the right way. When I'm doing it the right way now, but when I was younger, I was a fucking little gang kid, wanted to be cool. I thought that I was going to have a life of crime. I thought a life of crime sounded awesome. Wrong. Yeah, so don't do what I did. Take it from the old man in the that looks like a white nationalist. That's only a nationalist, an American nationalist, not even a Christian nationalist, just a nationalist. Nah. Let's go.
Get shot all the time. That's what happens in the south side of Chicago. You should come here. I'll take you there. We could go to Garfield Park.
My son
we could
went
go
to
to
Chicago University for a year.
We could hold hands.
Yeah, that's a bubble. That's a bubble. You think you're in Chicago and Hyde Park? You don't know Chicago. Go a little bit west. See what it's like over there.
I don't know shit about Chicago.
People agree with me because they're tired of it too. And maybe not most of them, but a lot of them agree with what I say about that because they know how it is. That's why the first thing they do when they make a little bit of money is they go and leave to another neighborhood.
Fuck, and I love it.
Just remind me again, the percentage.
This guy makes me laugh.
Black men who commit murder in America. What was the percentage you gave me?
It's 1 in 20. 1 in 20.
I love it that he's going to end up throughout this interview showing him clips of himself and going, "That's you. Do you think you still think this?" He's like, "Totally. Yup." It was so weak. It's so weak. He didn't do enough research. It's like they fucking threw him a bunch of clips and said, like, "Yeah, just show him this." He didn't do anything. Let's go.
It's 1 in 100.
No, it's 1 in 20.
No.
Okay, this is where we go to per capita. Let's go. As soon as I can change the scene. All right, this is new to me.
Less than 1 in 100 black U.S. men commit murder. That's the most up-to-date crime statistics in America.
That's not true. I've seen other statistics. They say 1 in 20 will eventually commit a murder.
So your rate means that you're saying that crazy, 5 times as many black men commit murder as the official crime statistics say.
Yeah, there's a report, I believe, on X by Data Hazard. I'll have to go and double check that for you. But yes, there's some pretty shocking evidence that says that it's far more alarming than you would think.
Okay, but
it's kind of funny that
official crime statistics
his editors and producers had to teach him about per capita.
I don't know. I don't have it in front of me, but I've seen other evidence. Like I said, Data Hazard on X, I believe, produced a report about a year ago. It said 1 in 20. But I mean, whether it's 1 in 20 or 1 in 100, that's a lot of people, Piers. I mean,
a lot of white people commit murder too.
That's not an answer.
Okay, but it's about proportionality. I mean, white people are 65% of the population. Blacks are 13%. And I think anybody would tell you that more black people proportionally
per capita. It's a call to aware.
What's with the interruptions?
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, you look at in Chicago, in New York, these neighborhoods are so stratified. People would rather pay a high tax rate. They'd rather pay a much higher property value to live in a less diverse, less black neighborhood because they don't want to live around the violence. And I think that when you look at even on the public transit, the subway, the blue line, you know, people don't want to go there because they know who occupies and menaces the public transit. It is these people like Daniel Penny had to deal with. It's people like Irina Zarutska had to deal with. And that's just the...
That poor girl, bro. That poor girl, if she was only just a little more discriminatory. You know, when you come from a place, it's like completely homogenous in their race and their culture, you know, such as, you know, Denmark or in this case, was she from Crimea? I don't know. But she was able to get out of there because she was a woman and, you know, and it's war-torn over there, and God damn it, I can't even fucking think. But if you know, when you come from a spot that's like completely homogenous racially, you were expecting this or that. This girl was actually really, she was into Black Lives Matter. She's a pretty girl, young girl, Now, I don't do public transport ever. I'd rather walk 40 miles than take a bus. I'll probably get there to my destination around the same time. But all I'm saying is this poor girl, all she needed to know was the per capita rates of high crime regarding different ethnicities. That's all. Just to be a little more discriminatory. When you're not, it's just like it's okay for like black folks now to like say they'll worry about white people, right? Because they've grown up hearing all this handed down shit about how we're so racist and lynchings and all this shit, and it keeps coming down from generation to generation. And the thing is, on the white side, or the white appearing side, because I believe more nationalities than a race, which sure, they're social constructs to a degree, but we're all the human race, but we come from different nations, and nations are social constructs too, but they all have different cultures, and that's why that's important. Not all the white people have a shared culture, just like not all the black people all through the world. These are colors. Nationalities are more, I would think, nationalities make more sense because they can point to a shared culture rather than a shared color. So it makes more sense to link, at least in my mind. But anyway, I'm going to keep going.
Comfortable reality.
Oh, yeah, by the way, I was just going to say, if she knew more about American culture and what happens in America, if she saw like a dude that might look a little sketchy and she had lived in America a little longer, I would like to think that she would have been like, no, I'm going to move. This is why usually, if you're ever walking, go one ear off with your headphones, put them down real low. Get your can of spray, get your fucking knife, or get a concealed carry permit, some tactical gloves. To be honest, I go out with at least 4 or 5 weapons on me whenever I walk. All right.
You've also said you don't want to live near black people. Let's take a listen to this clip.
I'm a new generation of white person. I'm not living around blacks. Sorry. I want white kids, and I don't want my white kids bringing home black people to marry.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
It's racial for me. And call me racist. Oh, very Christian of you. I don't give a fuck.
He doesn't give a fuck. He's
I mean,
like,
it couldn't
yeah.
be clearer, really. Unless
Do you
you
agree
want to
with
say
this?
That's another of your jokes. But you're basically saying, yeah, I'm a racist, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You're fine with saying you're a racist?
Totally.
Yeah,
I think
I'm sure he
everybody's
is.
racist. I think everybody, if we're being honest, is racist.
To a degree.
I think everybody, the only people that aren't racist
or liars,
or pretend not to be, are white people to their detriment. Everybody else is racist.
But earlier in the interview, you went...
This is true. Suicidal empathy.
Really got aggrieved at the idea that your father was a racist. You wanted to make emphatic...
Yeah, because my father's...
He's not.
Because my father doesn't share my same views on that.
So he's the exception to everyone's a racist.
Well, everybody's a little bit racist. You're right. So maybe everybody...
True.
The difference is you're attacking my father. He could get fired from his job.
I'm not attacking your father.
Stop fucking with his father, bro.
I don't know your father. And to be clear, I have no knowledge about him at all.
Well, then let's leave him out of it. Let's leave him out of it if you don't know him.
Hang on, Nick. You put that story into the public domain on your show. I'm simply reminding you.
I don't want to hear about this dude's father anymore. Let's see.
You can respond any way you like. But the idea I can't ask you about it without you saying I'm attacking your father is ridiculous.
Shut the fuck up about it, man.
Well, you are, and you know what you're doing, and there's a political culture.
I think Piers should worry about his wife a little more, too.
In America, where if you have the wrong views, you get fired from your job. And my father has a job, and if you go on here and say, you charge him with racism or something, and I'm put in a position where I don't look like I'm sticking to my guns if I don't say my father's a racist, you're putting him in jeopardy, and he's not here to defend himself or explain his views. And it's very low, and I think you know exactly what you're doing, and people can see what you're doing. I'll defend my views.
What are you doing?
And I think that, you know, so let's leave him out of it. Let's just not talk about my father, because my father isn't here.
Fair.
I'm here.
Okay, well, then do you accept that you shouldn't talk?
I'll defend the anecdote.
Listen, that's fine. But then do you accept you shouldn't talk?
I'm getting sick of this father shit, but I get it. I get it. This really blew up in the, and I think the Groypers, whatever even Groyper means. I don't think I'm part of that generation, to be honest. I'm relatively semi-successful in my mind. I'm able to afford things. I'm able to put money away. I'm able to put money in my 401k. A good bit. A lot of people are not. A lot of people are really struggling, and so I don't understand. I don't understand where these guys are at. Now, I mean, I feel like, you know, if you are part of that generation, maybe it's not just about the money. Maybe it's about your, like, you know, how you are with women. Everybody's looking for a scapegoat. Now, personally, I don't think it's the Jews. I think, if anything, this guy right here, Mr. Fuentes, is way more genuine than someone like Candace Owens, who constantly fucking invokes the Uden for clicks. And I think she needs to fuck off with that shit and keep, you know, stop bringing up Charlie Kirk and all this other fucking with Erica Kirk and TPUSA. She's doing nothing but sensationalizing shit, and you know, I'm sorry, but the Jews don't run the entire world. The Jews do. Like, you know, when he says, when he gets to the part about worldwide Jewry or whatever, that's true. That's true. Like Judaism expands beyond its own borders, beyond the borders of Israel. They're trying to have a worldwide state, which is weird. I don't agree with that, but they're more they're just, I mean, why don't Christians do that? Why doesn't every, you know, like, look at what fucking Islam's trying to do. They're trying to do that. But I'm going to shut the fuck up and get back to it. So, skibbity-dop and doo-bop, Christopher Reeves.
About your father on your show, and you shouldn't tell...
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So it's fine for you to put a story...
Fuck your father,
conclusions about you, and to ascertain...
They are every... So, no, I think that white people... I think that white people have been beaten into submission, that we're afraid to tell the truth about it. And the truth is...
Not this one.
That when you go into these major cities like New York or Chicago...
Dude, I'm more black than half these black motherfuckers out here. I got more street cred. I don't give a fuck.
Chicago, I believe she was in North Carolina. There is a menace,
Charlotte,
which is young, black, adolescent men. They're
that's not a lie.
Extremely violent. And we have been told that we have to pretend like they are every other person. We have to be colorblind to that. And we're supposed to go and be in the midst of all this danger. And I think that at this point, it's gotten out of control. You look at the BLM movement, they said that the reason that black people, you know, are violent, or the reason there's crime, is because of police brutality, or redlining, or all these other things. They said we need to get rid of the police. We need to defund.
Let's just say this. Everywhere they've defunded the police due to Marxist organizations such as BLM or the STS, or, you know, the Social Democratic Society, or groups involved with huge figures like who's the Jew that wrote, like, fucking pays for all this shit? They've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that defunding the police is bad. Don't do it. So yeah, sorry. They're not going to rob you because they're not going to rob a store for iPhones because they're hungry. These are people that, like, most of these people get fucking food stamps. A lot of people in America, even the people on the street, aren't hungry. Even the people who live on the street aren't hungry. I've known people that lived on the street carrying around fucking rolls of fucking goddamn like carrying a clip of fucking cash. We're talking about like G's that had no home. And they were on there because they just wanted to be. Because they like to do drugs, and they would sell drugs to get more drugs, and they actually get a lot more money just living on the street. And they actually wouldn't always live on the street because a lot of these people fucking know other people that want drugs, and they let them sleep at the house. And as long as they didn't steal nothing, they let them do it again.
Fund them. And a lot of cities did. A lot of cities like Chicago, for example, the police changed the rules of engagement. They don't chase them. It's not a felony if you steal a certain amount of merchandise. They won't chase them on foot. And now the city's totally up for grabs. And now whether you're in the Gold Coast or whether you're on the Mag Mile or you're in the worst neighborhoods in the city, you might get shot, you might get mugged, someone might run up on you. And I tell my followers, it is better to be perceived as racist or racist and walk the other way and maybe keep your life than to say, I'm a good anti-racist. I don't mind that this person's making me uncomfortable. Maybe he's looking a little froggy. I'm going to sit down because I'm a good person.
Roses are red, sandwiches are grilled, young couple bikes across Afghanistan and get themselves killed. That's all I got to say about that.
And get stabbed, mugged, whatever. And by the way, this is a strategy. They call it the friendly stranger. There's a crew of them. They do this in Chicago. They stand outside bars, black people. They approach strangers. It's a robbery crew. And they pretend to be a friendly stranger, and then they mug them. And stupid white people say, oh, hi, yeah, nice to meet you. You know, they grin, they laugh, they put up with the nonsense, and then they get mugged, or worse. Sometimes they get executed. And so it's white person.
How do you feel about mass shootings at school?
Oh, here we go.
I think they're bad.
Who do you think commits the vast majority of the mass shootings?
I'm sure it's white people.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that?
It's bad.
I think that white people do more antisocial violence. I think black people participate in more gang violence. I think that's the difference.
Black people, you guys get way more social with your violence, which is kind of cool. Maybe white people need to be more social with their violence. Who were the last people that were social with their anti-social violence? Was it what was the dude's name? Dylan, the Columbine. They were too social. They should have probably not been as social. And I'm not making light of that horrific tragedy, but Jesus Christ, man. And they try to blame it on Doom, the game Doom. Come on. Let's go with this. Oh my God, this is probably a shit show. Let's go.
What's the difference to the victims?
There's no difference to the victim, but it's a different kind of crime, and it's a different proportion also. Do you know what percentage of white people are school shooters?
I know that the vast majority of mass shootings in schools in America this century were perpetrated by young white men. And I'm just,
what proportion
I'm curious.
Okay, this is the per capita.
I'm curious whether your advice would be to people who have kids in school. Should they avoid white people at school? Should people with the kids at school avoid young white men at school?
No.
Okay.
Do you know what per capita means? Do you know proportionality? There are more black people proportionally.
This is why you have to do like your own research, Piers, and not just go by whatever fucking your producer is spitting into your ear.
Engage in violent crime or involved in,
or fire your producer and get a whole new one because he obviously doesn't. He didn't help you in this.
In gangs, especially in these major cities. Then
Dr. Phil says, "You are so brave."
There are white people that are school shooters compared to the entire white population, and everybody understands that.
Two-thirds of mass shootings at school perpetrated by white people.
But what proportion of white men
per capita
commit school shootings? That's the question.
I've just told you.
I cannot believe
You're telling me what proportion of school shootings are committed by white people. I'm saying what proportion of white people have committed school shootings. Are you playing dumb, or are you just not that smart? What's the difference?
Oh my God, dude. You're getting your ass raped right now by a fucking goddamn dude that hasn't ever gotten laid, which is fine because I think he's an incel, or maybe he's going along with his faith apparently, but he does speak to the incels. But you're getting your ass eaten up by him, Piers. Just deal with it.
To the children lying dead on the ground.
See, now you want to jump on the victims. The difference is you're asking, would you fear white people or black people? And that's the difference. The difference is
it's called fucking pattern recognition. How many of you guys, any men out there, I don't know about women, any men out there, because I think young men are more likely to have violence upon them, perpetrated upon them by black folks. I have gotten boot stomped by black people multiple times, but the difference between me and most other people is I had a black girlfriend for 3 or 4 years, and in those 3 or 4 years, I was basically trained how to fight a lot of these guys because I had no choice. I wasn't always the guy that would just walk away, and then you couldn't. And she was a cunt. She would fucking make it worse. But yeah,
what I'm saying to you is, by your logic, if we now have agreed that the vast majority of mass shootings in schools are committed by white people and predominantly young white men, then presumably your advice would be to avoid young white men because they perpetrate these massacres. But it won't be because they're white, right?
So are you playing dumb or are you actually dumb?
Maybe
it's
I'm
about
dumb.
proportionality.
Maybe I'm dumb.
You are because you're, well, I don't think you are dumb. I think you're smart actually, but you're deliberately avoiding per capita. And everybody knows that's the difference. What proportion of white men are school shooters? It's probably 0.00001%. What proportion of black men have committed violent crimes? It's probably like 5.
I've actually, I think I've seen some black crime like in the past week, like personally.
5%. I guess I don't know.
I haven't seen any white crime in the past week or the past month.
What it is off the top of my head?
Personally.
But it's very high. And I would add to that, even as it concerns schools, why do you think parents pay a super high property tax to live in a school district where there's white people? Because
white people just rather pay a lot of money to live around other white people, even though it's super dangerous and there might be kids that are going to kill their kids, at a clip so low.
You know that if they go to the black school, it's going to be the Bloods and the Crips. It's going to be gangs. It's going to be, you talk about school.
The school downtown, guys, am I right? If you got a downtown school and everybody's like, yo, that school, yeah.
Shootings, nobody talks about all the school shootings that are committed by gangbangers in and around the school and all the other violence that's associated with that. I mean, these schools in the south side of Chicago, it's just not livable.
I have an answer for you, Nick. So the proportion of the population who carry out mass shootings is actually the same for black and white.
Per capita.
For white people, the proportion of the proportion of the population. Are you hearing it? No.
See, I think the trouble with your statistics is a lot of them don't bear much scrutiny. We have a bunch of
fact checkers checking all this in real time. We're having a lack. We're having a lack. He's so fucking goddamn it, Piers. This is what happens. This is a crutch. His show has been a crutch. His producers are a crutch. This is what happens when you have no. You're so confident in your team that you just fuck off your own research.
To just come out with a lot of old baloney. And when you say, well, it's true. And when you're confronted with reality, you don't like it.
What's the figure? What proportion of white people have committed school shootings? With white people as the denominator and white people that have committed school shootings as the numerator, what's that percentage?
For both black and whites, the proportion of the population who carry out mass shootings generally is about the same.
You're about to get taught something.
No, tell me the number, and then
the only focus of your attention is the black shootings, the black crime.
He's not getting it.
You don't want to live around black people. You want to avoid black people.
You
don't
want
interracial marriages or relationships that may produce black people. And yet, when I point out to you that there are many parts of crime in America where actually there's a majority of white people that perpetrate them, you don't care. you don't have any interest in that. It doesn't exercise your mind.
About that.
Maybe because
no one's
maybe
buying
you don't
this.
have
This
kids.
argument lost. No one is buying this. Everybody understands per capita, and people can even see what you race ahead and say, well, we're comparing the proportion of white and black school shooters. I said, no, compare the proportion of school shooters that are white versus violent criminals that are black, because that was the basis of the monologue, is that you're very likely, if you encounter black people or a young black man in the city, that you're going to be the victim of a violent crime, of a robbery, a mugging, a car theft, a carjacking, or a murder.
Has anybody ever been a victim of any of these things? I have. I had bullet holes in the back of my truck. Granted, I shouldn't have been where I was, but I'm certain if you have been a victim of any violence, Morgan and Morgan. I'm kidding. I don't fuck Morgan. They're not going to fucking sponsor me.
That's the difference. And it's about proportionality. And everybody sees past that because we all live in reality. You want to talk about product of your environment.
I don't think Piers lives in reality. Not with what I found out about his wife. Wow. That's crazy. Google Piers Morgan's wife. Oh my God. It's a good thing he has thick skin. You'd need it when you're fucking with a hooer.
People that live in New York, Chicago, LA, we live in reality. We live in this environment and we see what it's like. And the threat, the danger in terms of probability is not, it's not even comparable. And I would say this to your point. If you're in a high school and truly, if you see a white person who looks like a little autistic, he's got the SSRI stare and he reaches for a backpack, people joke and say, run. Similarly, if you see a jalopy pulling up with a bunch of black people in it and they got their pants around the ankles, you're going to run also. And I'm saying the same thing. The difference is
he's going to be able to run with his pants
much more often. It's much more common. You know, in Chicago, there's like 10,000 carjackings and car thefts every day. It's in the thousands. It happens all the time.
I don't know about Chicago.
Mass shootings committed by autistic SSRI white people? I don't even know. I mean, it's probably.
I'm going to go ahead and give you a scenario. All right. Recently, in the past month and a half, my wife, she manages a gas station. And what happened to her was she was working overnight. Most of this shit happens when you work overnight. She had just gotten another store. Her original store was in the hood, and we're talking about there was a shooting there. Like from the time she worked, I think there was 4 shootings from the time she started there, and this was under a year. Robberies, thefts. But before she moved to another store that was not, or after she moved to another store that wasn't in the hood, was when she was working overnight. She left her purse. Like, she never does this, but I know she's tired because she tries to sleep during the day, but you can't always sleep during the day, especially if you're not only doing overnight shifts. She was working overnight shift, and she left her purse up on the counter. Like, she never does that, but I guess she was going through her purse. There's some guy in there. I'm not going to say the nationality or the race of the guy that was in there. It was a black guy. Anyway, he stole her purse. I'm asleep. It's 3 a.m. I get a fucking call from my wife, and she goes, well, I get a call, and I had to have a headset on and use my phone. And anyway, she tells me that her purse got stolen and all the shit's going on, and oh my God, she's like, my keys, my work, I wish they could just dump it somewhere. There's, just take what they want, and then I hope, the cops went. So anyway, the cops get over there. They go outside, they look for the purse. She gives them the description, they show the videos, and she actually told me, well, her ID's in there, so now they know where she lives. They have her house keys, so if somebody shows up, and it's 3 a.m, so I'm like, fuck, and I'm tripping out because I'm like, wow, that's everything. Her meds are in there. She tells me if somebody just shows up, shoot him in the face. So I grab my gun, I make sure I get some shit chambered, and turn off the TV, and I sit there because I would not be able to sleep or relax until I changed my locks. At any rate, I think 2 hours go by. She sends me another text with a picture of her purse laying outside. Apparently, whomever had stolen it drove back through and thrown it out the car into the front. Nothing was taken except for a small change purse. Nothing. There's video of it, which I may upload around this area, but I'm not sure. I may put it here. Anyway, it was actually Thanksgiving, the night before Thanksgiving. I think it was Thanksgiving morning, to be honest. It was a Thanksgiving miracle.
In the single digits in the last decade in this city. That's the difference, and everybody knows that. But you're really just trying to carry water for liberal ideology. It's an ideological position.
I'm really not. I can absolutely say yes. There is way too much black on black crime, for example, involving guns in Chicago.
And black on white, also.
Yes, but there is way too much gun violence in Chicago. Right? I mean, it's indisputable. I've got no problem saying that. The difference is I don't then lead myself into a thought process where I have to avoid all black people in case they shoot me. And you've already conceded that you are a racist. So when people hear you then say, I don't want to be living anywhere near black people, they already have heard you say, I'm a racist. So they assume you're doing that because of people's skin color. I don't think you would probably dispute that, right?
It's not about the skin color.
You're separating two different things. The monologue, when I said I don't want to live around black people, that was after Irina Zarutska got shot. And it's true. I mean, they are largely in this city, in Chicago, the South Side, the West Side, huge criminal population. And I don't want to live anywhere near it. And I do. I want to live in a white neighborhood. I
don't blame this guy for wanting to. I mean, especially living in the South Side of Chicago. I don't know what it's like to live in the South Side of Chicago, but from what I understand about the South Side of Chicago, it's not a good place to live, man. It is not a good place. If I'm to believe the show Shameless, it's not good. But I mean, I've lived in like places with hoods my whole life. I mean, shit, I lived in the hood for like 2 or 3 years for like voluntarily. Yeah, shit can get bad.
I think that that's extremely desirable, and I think even black people.
Again, Nick, you're perfectly entitled to that view. But when you have obviously prefaced all this by saying, I am a racist, unashamedly, then people will assume that all your thought processes about all of these issues are driven by an aversion to
nobody gives a shit what other people would assume.
People based on their skin color, which is the purest personification of racism.
Nobody cares.
Well, it's not.
Nobody fucking lives their life. And if you do, you're retarded. You should not live your life and make decisions around what you think is going to make you look or appear or sound racist. Especially if it could be to your detriment. Like I said, roses are red, sandwiches grilled. Hold on, I'm going to bring this up because it has to. Roses are red, sandwiches grilled. Young couple bikes across Afghanistan to show people are kind and gets killed. They get killed. It's a beautiful, beautiful poem that should never have happened. But it was actually true. It's a true thing that happened. This happens all the time. It's called suicidal empathy. I don't know if it could be out of like, this altruistic, feeling or like everybody's kind. All you gotta do is show them you're kind and their kindness will just appear out of nowhere. It's not true. There are people out there that will fuck your shit up. All right.
Not an aversion. I would say it's the opposite.
Aversion?
I like my own people. My own people are familiar to me, and I think that's true across the board.
I don't always like my own people.
People seek out other people that are like themselves, and every other group does this, whether it's blacks, Hispanics, Asians. I get a lot of attacks when I talk about then I'm against interracial marriage. And what's funny is that every other group is against interracial or interethnic marriage. Jews, Chinese,
you're the product of an interracial marriage.
Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, that's debatable.
Not
Let's
really.
say for the sake of argument, sure.
No, you're the product of an interracial marriage.
No, it's
and
not
your father
racial.
is
It's
part
just
Mexican.
You're
literally, for the sake of argument,
the very person you've just told me you want to avoid.
What race is Hispanic? Is that a race?
Well, what do you think it is?
According to
I'm asking you, what race is Hispanic?
It's white adjacent.
Hispanic, of course it's a race. It's called Hispanic.
It's a mix between two races. It's a mix between indigenous Americans and Europeans.
It's not white, though, is it? It's not white.
Well, apparently you're more of a racial purist than me. You got like
not really. You just keep saying you only want to.
I swear to God, this is insufferable.
You live in a white neighborhood, but you're literally from a mixed race background yourself. You've literally got Mexican blood.
I know, and I live in a non-white neighborhood too. I'm trying to get out of here, though. But I'm trying to get out. But here's the thing:
Do you have any non-white friends? Genuine question.
Most of my friends are non-white. Most of my friends are not, and non-white people love my show because they respect the honesty.
How many of your friends are black?
Probably the majority.
Many of them, like at least a dozen.
Wow.
Ye being one who you know, Sneeko being another who you also know.
Fucking Sneeko, God damn it.
Yeah. So how do they feel when you say you just want to be away from any black people, walk away from them?
Well, apparently they're not part of that fucking sect of black people.
Well, you know what Ye told me? I'll tell you verbatim what he said. That it's
probably something genius.
Doesn't come from a place of, and you use the word aversion. That's the first thing I'll actually dispute.
Apparently,
it's not
apparently at this point of the interview, he says what Ye was gonna say. It had something to do with him saying like nigga or something, and then and you can clip that, whatever. But it wasn't him. It was Ye. Not like he's never said that. I've never heard him say a hard R. I mean, I've heard myself do it, but I've never heard him do it. I've heard him say the soft A. But anyway, so he says what Ye told him, and it gets completely cut out from the show. Let's see if they've amended that.
Aversion on the basis of skin color, because that would seem to suggest it's like a stubborn, irrational bigotry. I don't consider myself a bigot. I consider myself a racial realist. I'm realistic about how the races are, and I speak provocatively about it. And I speak provocatively about our tribalistic instincts and tendencies as human beings. And I'm not a liberal ideologue that says that over time and with enough education, we're all going to see this great brotherhood where we're colorblind and everybody's the same. You know, I don't think that's ever going away. I think that race is real. It's not just skin deep. It matters to us and it matters to each other. And black people know that, and Hispanics know that, and Asians know that, and people like me that have partial.
I don't really believe in race per se. I mean, because when you think about it, man, it really comes down to nationalities. What nation you're from, where they're at, because there's studies done on, like, you know, this nation's fucking IQ and all this other shit, but when it comes down to personal shit, you can break through that. It has a lot to do with exposure to modernity, education, not modernity like, you know, fucking woke ass feminist bullshit and fucking Marxism. I'm talking about like modern architecture, modern science, modern thought beyond politics. And when I say education, I mean like learning real shit, not the bullshit. Wow, let's get back into it.
Mexican ancestry, we know that too. And I think on that basis, we can have mutual respect and understanding, not aversion based on skin color.
The reason I use the word aversion is you literally said that you should walk the other way if you see black people. That is an aversion to black people based on their skin color.
No, that's called economy of information. That's economy of information. That's safety. And I said in the same monologue, if you...
That's fair. He's fair on that one.
watch it, it's like, I feel sorry. The problem is you clipped it 10 seconds. I don't know if you watched the whole show, but in that monologue, I said, most black people are not violent or criminals. I said, and it's unfortunate that we're going to offend them when we turn and walk the other way. I said, but the problem is we don't know. We can't tell. And someone like Irina Zarutska, she sat down in front of a black man with her headphones in and wasn't paying attention because she was being a good liberal and said, I'm not uncomfortable by this. I'm progressive. Then she got stabbed in the neck. And I said, it's unfortunate that you would have to sit behind the black man to be safe. And if he's not violent or schizophrenic, he might be offended by that.
He might still stab you.
How many deranged white
to be a woman
have committed atrocious acts of murder in the last 10 years in America?
Got some strength.
Proportionally far fewer.
But how
far
many?
fewer.
How many? Do you know how many?
You have a research team. You pull it up.
I mean, you're very big on, you're obviously extremely exercised by that one story, which was horrific for the record, absolutely horrific, and should never have happened. The person who perpetrated that evil act had a string of previous offences and should have been picked up more.
I gotta say this. Nick Fuentes has a super punchable face. I could not guarantee that if I was wasted and this guy started talking to me and making some weird faces at me, that I would not try to fucking check his fucking jaw. I'd probably get my ass beat by a bunch of black people though, because apparently they love him. But I don't know. And that just goes to show what kind of piece of shit I am. So anyway, let's go back to it.
It should have been amplified more. I completely concur with all of that. But I just suspect you have no idea how many white people have committed similar crimes, do you?
No, because I know it's far fewer from experience. Because it's like you said. Well, and hang on, and I would add to that.
Every one of those crimes has probably been sensationalized. Every time a white person does anything, especially if it's towards a black person, you're going to see it on the news. I don't know why. It's just like every time a cop, doesn't matter what color, black or white, shoots a white person, whether it be armed or unarmed, and cops have the hardest job. The truth is, it's really tough to be a cop. I mean, I think Asman said it best. Cops are basically the Swiss Army knife that gets thrown at every fucking problem that comes up. And he was right. He's completely correct. And they have a hard fucking job. It's difficult as shit. When it comes down to it, if you're a white guy and you get shot by the cops, it's not going to show up in the news from some fucking anywhere, New York, fucking some fucking midwestern fucking city. But if you're black and you get shot and killed by the cops, whatever, just shot and you live, doesn't matter what color the cop was or whatever, because they'll be like, even if the cop's black, and it's like, let's say black on black cop to criminal shooting, they're going to blame it on white supremacy. There is a narrative in there. I don't know why, but there always is. Let's go.
Irina Zarutska wasn't the first one. That was also after Austin Metcalf was killed in Texas.
Sure.
After Carmelo
how many
Anthony
times has it been perpetrated by white people?
Well, hang on. Let me finish my point.
But you're implying that white people don't do this. So my point to you, Nick Fuentes, is of course.
Oh, I never said white people don't do it.
Of course, deranged white people commit heinous acts, but you don't either know. You neither know nor care, or maybe both. Maybe you do know.
He probably does care.
You only seem to be focused on black people who commit crimes. Again, if you hadn't,
it's because of the rate they do it at in comparison to white people per capita.
Preface the whole debate.
This whole fucking thing
by openly
could have been
conceding
fucking
you are
taken
a
care
racist. I could read other connotations into what you've been saying. But once you've said, I'm a racist, and then you only talk about black crime, I think people can watch this and they can say, yeah, he's a racist. And everything that he says about crime is driven through the prism of being a racist who judges people according to their skin color.
Well, it's funny because it's quite on the contrary. And I said this in a similar monologue. The problem is not that I wake up and I walk down the street and I see someone that doesn't look like me and it makes me angry. The problem is there's a pattern of behavior which we've all seen. Blacks in America have become narcissistic, and they become narcissistic because they've been told they're victims of racism, they're victims of slavery. They've been told, really, there's no accountability. If they're rude, if they're inconsiderate, if they're criminal, they are told that they have no agency for their actions. They're being told, if you act in this way, it's because the white man made you that way. It's because the system's rigged against you. And so we have been telling black people this for a generation, and now there's no rules. Now they go, and what we hate to see as decent people, not even as white people, but decent people, even black.
We're male monkeys. We are the male monkeys of America. Apologize for another day.
Black people too. What we hate to see is rudeness, obnoxiousness, inconsideration, criminality, violence. And that's that pattern of behavior that we see all over social media, on the
just to
body
be clear,
cam footage,
you don't like black people who play the victim and are rude.
No, nobody does.
Is that your
I don't
position?
like people that play the victim.
I don't like that pattern of behavior.
And who are narcissists?
I see where this is going.
Oh,
yeah, you're ahead of me.
Turn this around on
you're
me.
ahead of me, aren't you? Because when I said,
Very
what
clever.
black friends have you got?
Wow.
You said,
I am kind of black, aren't I?
No, not that. You said,
Oh, yay
I'm not
also.
saying you. I'm just saying your choice of black friend is Ye, who is arguing.
Oh my God. All right. I'm jumping in here. All right. I know what's going to happen here. I mean, I know what's going to happen, but I also, if I would have watched this from the beginning, I knew what would happen from the beginning when I first saw this. This is not like a non-pre-watch. I pre-watched this. Obviously, dude, I'm not a streamer. I'm a fucking guy that makes videos. And I'm also a construction guy. I do everything. But the honest truth is that when he talks about fucking, he's about to tell him that the one black friend, your best black friend or whatever, is, of course, you would go with some narcissist like Ye. When I don't think Kanye's a narcissist. I think he's a troubled person, period. Like, everybody has issues, man. Like, I think Kanye West comes across as a very soft-spoken guy. But I also think there's moments when he comes across like he's having, like, an episode. And as someone who has dealt with, not depression per se, but, like, I'm medicated for OCD, and I've actually gotten over it. I'm actually fully not OCD. I have OCD, but when I talk about OCD, I'm not talking about the cute kind, like lining up your pencils. I'm talking about the mental fucking anguish kind that gives you thoughts of scenarios that don't exist, where you leave your house and you start unplugging everything and like turning off breakers because you think, and then in the middle of the day, even though you did that, you have a panic attack because your dogs are, there's a house, my house is on fire, and my dogs are fucking burning to death, and it has to be true. That's what it is. That's what I'm talking about, not cutesy fucking fag-tard OCD. Anyway, let me get back to it. I don't even know what.
Arguably the number one black victimhood narcissist in America. Do you understand the problem? So he's your friend. He's one of the.
I thought it was funny when Ye was like, Hitler was a great guy. He invented the microphone I'm speaking on right now. He invented roads. I was like, I don't know who taught you about Hitler, bro. But I got no problem with Kanye. I think he's I love his music. If anybody likes, I'm a Kanye fan, to be honest. Not the guy, but his music. I assume he's a decent guy. I just think he's troubled. I think obviously, look at the type of women he goes with. Jesus. But The College Dropout, one of the best albums of all time. Keep it in mind. I'll eventually come up with a setup that works.
Very few black people you want to be associated with, but he's the epitome of what you just said you abhor about narcissistic black people.
I disagree. I disagree with you, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, the whole premise.
Because Ye, if you've ever met him in real life,
I have. Yeah.
Okay, well then you know he's nothing but polite.
All right, the last episode. All right, the last episode, which I would imagine would be the last time Piers Morgan actually had Ye on. I think Ye was with Sneeko, and I don't know what Piers did to upset him, but He did something, and then Kanye like rolled off. He was like very upset, and he rolled off. And the only person who was left behind was Sneeko, and Sneeko was wearing like some aviators, dressed in this suit, looking like the goddamn fucking, looking like I don't know, like a bodyguard. Even though it's like, man, you're smaller than him, but shit, I think he's about my size. Anyway, I can understand why Piers would like come to this conclusion. I really think Ye is or Kanye, and it was because he didn't call him by the name he wanted to be called, and I think that dude's really sensitive, to be honest. I cannot I cannot fucking go into someone else's head and tell you what they are thinking and why they do the things they do, but I can tell you from my own experiences, my truth from my experiences, why I think or this person may have done X thing. And I think he's just very sensitive. There are triggers for this man. Just like I have triggers when it comes to OCD stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna go back into it.
I consider it.
That seems very rude to me the last 2 times I interviewed him. He's a supreme,
you're a rude
he's a
motherfucker,
supreme
Piers.
narcissist, and he's also.
You keep interrupting me. You're very rude. Are you black?
I apologize.
Are you
black
right now
to you?
I'm
Stop
giving you a hard time, but I do want to finish want to finish my point about Ye. He is a guy who, when I was with him, wanted to make sure that everybody was heard. Everybody felt included.
Was
He's
that the
actually a
cousin?
very soft-spoken guy, very
cousins.
polite, and by the way, not violent. When you look at all the rappers that are in the music game, many of them, especially from Chicago, drill rap, they're talking about killing people, shooting people, they gangbang. He notably, if you know about him, he got his start because he was a nerd. He wore a backpack and a polo, and he wasn't a gangbanger. He rapped about his feelings and girls and his dreams and his ambitions.
I'm about to get stupid.
No,
been working this day shift, ain't been paid yet. I wish I could buy me a spaceship and fuck this, man. Guess when if the manager insults me again, okay.
And by the way, he would tell me all the time he doesn't even feel black. They make him feel not black because he doesn't do those things.
You know who else didn't feel black? OJ.
Because he's soft-spoken, because he's artistic, because he's a bit of a nerd or likes fashion. So I would disagree. He's
artistic. Did I hear artistic?
Actually not like that at all. Okay. We're talking
he's also a Hitler-loving anti-Semite. And we're going to take a little commercial break.
You're the man invented the microphone
here, and we're going to come back and talk about anti-Semitism and your views about Jewish people, and indeed what Ye said about the same subject matter.
Skippity doo bop. All right, hold on. I'm gonna take a break for a second because this is fucking insanity. I'm gonna back this shit up. Who is you playing? Let's be real. How many of you people like Nick? I don't like or hate him. I'm kind of a. Am I ambivalent? I don't know. I just don't care. I think there is something about the kid. Like, he's highly fucking intelligent. The dude is he can talk circles. I mean, look what he's doing to Piers Morgan. And it's so obvious. And it was obvious to me just watching it for the first time. I was like, wow. He is fucking goddamn. He's Uno reversing Piers Morgan. I mean, it's easy to do. All you have to do, it's basically what every streamer who's outlived their canceling has done. It's just not apologizing. They stick by their guns. They triple, double down, quad down. Because that's what they believe. And I knew this was going to happen. I know enough about Nick Fuentes at this point to know that he was not going to denounce any of his previous opinions. Oh, do you still think all black people should be in jail? He's like, oh, for the most part. Just the ones. And then he kind of, he puts an operand or a modifier, rather, on it. Going, well, just the ones that cause all the violent crime. And then they get in the per capita thing. I guess they didn't get in the per capita thing later on. But, all right. Go back into it. This is out of control. It's going to be a long video. Holy shit.
Angel Studios are back with a new must-see documentary. It's called Thank You, Dr. Fauci.
Thank you,
hear a lot
Dr.
more
Fauci. Suck a cock.
Answered emphatically that you don't hate all Jews. Is that correct? That's your position?
Yes.
Here we go.
Okay. So I want to play you this clip.
Well, I don't hate any Jews. Let me just amend that. I don't hate any.
I'm pausing real quick. Hold on. Give me 1 second.